千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. Now, as you know, we've started doing the chapter titles in Chinese just because that information is usually not available from any other translation, any other source. So I want to share with you that chapter 54 has two titles, and the translation, let me focus everyone on the left-hand one and then on the right. The one on the left is the well-established chapter. So the first character, well, and then the second character is to build or to establish. Together, well-established. Well-established what? Well, it's the well-established practice of the Tao. So this chapter is all about that. And then the alternative title is the character here is still to build or to establish. And then the second character here is to hold or to embrace. So the alternative title for this chapter is the establish and hold, or establish and embrace if you prefer. And this is referring to the same things. To establish a Tao practice, to hold on or embrace the faith in the Tao. So having said that, here's the chapter itself. As usual, let me read it from beginning to end, and then we can talk about the different sections. Tao Te Ching, chapter 54. That which is well established cannot be uprooted. That which is strongly held cannot be taken. The descendants will commemorate it forever. Cultivate it in yourself. Its virtue shall be true. Cultivate it in the family. Its virtue shall be abundant. Cultivate it in the community. Its virtue shall be lasting. Cultivate it in the country. Its virtue shall be prosperous. Cultivated in the world, its virtue shall be widespread. Therefore, observe others with yourself. Observe other families with your family. Observe other communities with your community. Observe other countries with your country. Observe the world with the world. With what do I know the world? With this. So this chapter ends on a note where Lao Tzu does not specify what this is. As usual, he's leaving a lot of work for the people who read without spelling everything out for the reader. This, at the very last line, is the Tao. With the Tao, I know the world, is what Lao Tzu is trying to say. Now, with this English rendition, you can tell there's a lot of repetition from one line to the next. That's actually following exactly the original. So let's go down line by line and then figure out where the divisions are in this particular chapter, and then we can see how many divisions there are. So looking at you can look at either the English or you can also look at the Chinese visually to pick out the characters that repeat. In the English, it will be the words that repeat. So if you take a look at the first two lines, you're going to see elements of repetition there. They should be pretty easy to figure out. pretty easy to see. Let me indicate them. Let me highlight them in red, and that will make them pretty easy. Of course, I'm not trying to be exhaustive. I'm just trying to indicate the repetition to showcase the poetic structure. So here we got 3 characters that repeat from one line to the next, and they roughly, not exactly, but roughly correspond to the English words that you see highlighted to the right-hand side. So in the first 2 lines, it's talking about that which is well established, that which is strongly held. Then in the 3rd line, no more repetition, but we have a line that is the mini conclusion to the first 2 lines. Well established, strongly held, and conclusion, descendants will commemorate it forever. That is a good thing they honor in future generations. So beyond line 3, we get into a whole other pattern. As you can see, you can already tell, even without the highlighting, that from line 4 on down to line 7 and even line 8, there's a very distinct structure that's repeated line after line. So what that means is we have to mark the division between line 3 and line 4. So I think that'll make sense to everybody. So what about the repetitions from line 4 on? Wow, there's actually a lot. Let me highlight them. So even line 8, it still continues the same repetition, even though it's 1 character off, as you can see. It's 1 character off because in ancient Chinese, when you want to talk about the world, all below heaven is the expression, and it's definitely more than 1 character. There's no single character that can really take its place, and therefore it's 1 character longer than the other ones. Other than that, everything else is the same. Also, note that I use country to translate 国. This character can mean country, it can mean state, like a sovereign state. It can mean nation, synonymous with that. And in ancient times, it would be either kingdom or empire. So just so everyone understands what the original is trying to say, if you were translating it for yourself, you can pick and choose among all of those possibilities and still be absolutely correct and accurate. So back to the sectional analysis. Now that we see all this repetition, we definitely see that this particular scheme, this pattern does not persist beyond line 8. So it makes perfect sense then for us to put a dividing line between line 8 and line 9. We can tell there's a completely different section that's about to begin. So I think this is pretty easy to follow so far. The first one is talking about the well-established, strongly held Tao, and then from line 4 to line 8, it's talking about cultivating the Tao and what that means at different levels. Then in the 3rd section, we get into even more repetitions, more repeating characters. You can probably pick some out already. Chances are, looking at the Chinese characters, you already see the repetition of the first character all the way down. You can also see the repetition of the 3rd character again all the way down. So let's go ahead and highlight those. And again, roughly on the right-hand side, I'm highlighting the corresponding English words. And we can also note that from line 10 to line 14, it is following the same scheme as from line 4 and line 8. What do I mean by that? Well, from line 4 to 8, it goes through a progression, starting with yourself to family, community, country, and world. Same with 10 to 14. Yourself, family, community, country, world. So that's definitely a section by itself. Here we go. There's a dividing line. Then logically, the last 2 lines will be the conclusion. And there we have the 4 sections of chapter 54. We've been doing this for years now. It is still a very helpful exercise to figure out the divisions in the original. It helps you see the quality of a translation. If a translation is not following this kind of pattern, then you know that there's lines being skipped over or lines being added by the translator, which really kind of disqualifies it as a translation. So having done the sectional analysis, we are now ready to go into a line-by-line discussion, starting with the first line. Here we are looking at the first 3 lines. So the first thing I want to do in discussing these initial lines is to single out the first character there to focus on that. San. Here's the pinyin. It's pretty close. Shan, san is the actual Mandarin pronunciation. What does it mean? It means good, well. And these English words are used in similar ways as the Chinese character. So, and I say it the other way. This Chinese character is used in similar ways as English equivalents, good and well. So let me further explain what that is. San is something that can mean a positive character trait. So for instance, when you look at the word good, you can say, she's a good person. Or from popular culture, we can quote, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. Hopefully we all know that. So good person, good man, that is a positive character trait. You can also use good in the context of being skillful. You might say, oh, she's really good at math. Or, he's good with his hands. These are all expressions meaning skill. Being good at math is to be skillful at math, etc. And you can also use the word good to mean a powerful, deep, lasting effect. For instance, you might say, let's take care of the problem for good, or I am leaving for good. Either way, when you say good, you mean that it's going to be deep and lasting, that it's not just something that's temporary, it's for good. So in this context, good and well are references to the Tao in one's life. And specifically, it means how well do you cultivate the Tao? How well do you study the Tao? What is the extent of your commitment to the Tao? Of course, we know that people regard the Tao in many different ways. There's a ton of variation even within just our group. Varying levels of commitment or interest in the Tao. That's just the way it is. Our different approaches, depending on the person, depending on personality, the approach can range from passing fancy to lifelong commitment. So this is something that Lao Tzu recognizes as well. So what he's saying with the first 2 lines, he's basically saying that, well, if you commit to the Tao long term, if you're not just if you're not just dabbling in the Tao, it's not just a passing fancy, then it becomes something that's permanent. It becomes a fixture in your life. It becomes integrated into your being, so you can never lose it. That itself has a powerful impact in the future. But if it's just a passing fancy, you may be coming into this particular gathering. Oh, I'll check it out. Maybe I won't like it. Maybe it's going to be asking too much of me. What is all this about applying the Tao? I don't want to do that. I just want to figure out what the Tao is all about. I want to entertain myself with the concepts. I want to explore and see what the philosophy is. I'm not gonna do the application side of it. Well, then that is the opposite. That's the passing fancy. It's easy come, easy go. It is not well established. It's not strongly held, so it can be taken away. It can be uprooted fairly easily. So let me zero in on that in the context of line 1. So here, I am addressing the entire line. It's basically saying that a well-established practice is like a tree with deep roots. There's no pulling that tree out of the ground because its roots are so deep. Here, we want to make a distinction between physical things and intangible things. When we talk about the Tao, whether as a spiritual practice or as philosophy, I want to point out that philosophies, concepts are intangible. There are not things like a book. They are thoughts in the mind. Physical things can be destroyed. Intangible thoughts cannot be destroyed. Now, this is particularly true when you have more than one person who entertains the same thoughts, who thinks the same thoughts. Therefore, an idea like the Tao shared with many becomes indestructible, effectively immortal, indestructible. In order to get rid of the idea, you'd have to get rid of everybody who knows about the idea. So, if you have an established pattern of Tao practice in your life, it becomes a part of you. It cannot be uprooted or pulled out of you. So that is the expression. That's what Lao Tzu is trying to say. Let's continue on. Line 2. That which is strongly held cannot be taken. And you can tell this is poetic construction. It's reiterating the same points in a slightly different way. So I'm going to go to the first 3 characters. The first character is the same. It's the san, the good, the well. Second character is to hold or to embrace. The third character means that which. So if you were just translating the 3 characters, it would be that which is strongly held, that which is well embraced, something like that. That which is strongly held or tightly embraced. Okay, I'll buy the tightly embraced. It doesn't change the original meaning. It's very accurate. So now we can figure out, because the first line is talking about the well-established Tao practice. The second line is talking about the strongly held belief or faith in the Tao. And you can also say the tightly embraced, powerfully embraced belief or faith in the Tao. So these are all references to the Tao. So then let's follow the same thought pattern as we did with the first line and look at the entire line. It's the same idea, the same overall expression. Physical objects can always be taken away, no matter what. But if it's an intangible if it's just a belief or faith in the Tao, well, they're not objects, so they cannot be taken. They cannot be taken away. It is only a tentative belief, a belief that you are not sure about, that can be shaken. You can introduce doubt into those beliefs, and therefore, end up changing someone's mind. So shaken belief leading to changing that belief into something else. A strong belief, especially one that's accumulated over time, that a strong belief in the Tao, where you see a lot of evidence in your own life why it is true and suitable for you, well, that is a powerful belief that cannot be shaken. It's not something that can be uprooted. So the first two lines are basically talking about the same thing. So what follows this is a lengthy discussion on the practice of the Tao, if it is well established, if it's strongly held, can have beneficial effects from the present to the distant future. Because it is a very lengthy discussion, what I think will be a good idea is that we will start next time with the discussion on this aspect of it. So for now, what we ought to do, because we're getting close to the top of the hour, is to take a look at the summary slides for everything that we have talked about so far today. And as you know, I like to say that time flies when we're having fun. It definitely feels as if we have covered a lot of ground today, but then the end of our meeting today seems to be arriving rather quickly. Let's do the summary for what we talked about today. It's all about the importance of the Tao, and we have the first three lines in our discussion today. The first one is about the well-established practice of the Tao. So number one in our summary is to let the Tao become a part of you so it can never be uprooted. This is encouragement from Lao Tzu. You can sort of see, looking at 53 and 54, that they form a yin and yang complementary pair, where in 53, Lao Tzu says, this is what not to do. This is what path to not follow. Here, he turns around and says, this is what you should do. You should make the Tao a well-established in your life. This is followed by the same point reiterated in a different way. Embrace and hold on to the Tao, that is, faith and belief in the Tao. So it becomes an unseen yet lasting aspect of your life. It's what you hold, what you believe in. It can be a cherished belief that will be with you through thick and thin as you take on the challenges of life. So next time, I want to illustrate this second bullet here with examples. Replace the negative with the positive. That's an essential aspect of the Tao practice, that when you embrace the Tao, when you embrace the belief in the Tao, the action that follows is not the typical actions that we associate with the Tao, like meditation, reading books, listening to a broadcast like this one to discuss the Tao. No, there's actually a little bit more to it. It's about planting the seeds of goodness, because over time, they displace and replace the bad, the negativity. So I'll talk more about that next time. And another point to talk about next time is about the Tao in one's family. Now, if you are on your own, when I say family, the larger meaning that I have is the family you create in your life. So family, quote unquote, would include friends, loved ones, associates. The family that you create as opposed to family that you're born into, and it can be both. Family, the broader definition, can include siblings, parents, kids, and loved ones, friends who sometimes feel closer than family. That is the family. So what I want to encourage everyone to think about, and we'll talk about this more next time, is to create Tao-centric traditions for the family, for yourself and your friends. In that tradition that you create, the emphasis should be on understanding and harmony. And we'll talk next time about how this will have far-reaching impact in your life. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us all travel safely so we can meet again. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.